Bris Vegas, we are coming to you with a live show with special guests. Bronny, hit it.
We are going to be at Good Chat Comedy Club from 3 to 5 p.m. on January the 11th. Special guests, live pod plus stand-up comedy. It's going to be huge, Bretty.
Oh, the gifts keep on flowing even after Christmas. I can't believe it. That's bloody exciting. And guys, if you jump onto the Patreon, we'll send you a discount code which gets you $5 off the live shows, which is exactly how much Patreon is. What a bloody good deal.
Very good.
Guys, we love you. Jump on the Patreon and we'll see you at the live shows. Hell yeah, dudes.
Hello and welcome to the Work Hates podcast. I'm Bron Lewis. This is Bretty Blake. Everyone has a nightmare work story, whether it is a shitty boss, a dreadful workplace, or an insufferable colleague. And if you've had none of those things, chances are you're the problem.
You are the problem. Today we are joined by director, producer, and online content creator, Max Miller.
Ooh, that's
Thank
good,
you.
Bretty.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put online content creator in my bio.
I was struggling
but,
to find a third, brother. I'll be honest with you.
Do you
Thanks.
create things for online?
I do.
Okay, so he's bang
I
on.
know, I can't. Yeah.
Why would you say you aren't that then?
It's I think because it was like I'd say like film, TV, and online. Because, there's a range of things.
You got a range. All right, I'll
What did you
redo
say?
it again.
Film,
TV, and I forgot the third. Producer.
Yeah, okay.
Nailed
All right,
it.
so
Now-
I thought he nailed it. That's the first time he's been given negative feedback. Well done.
No, it's
Usually-
not. I get it all the time. From
me.
you staring at me going, do some
Well,
research, cunt. I'm like, nah.
Yeah, usually sometimes it's like, we've got Danielle Walker on. She's a comedian, a woman, and she has a dog. And she's like, fuck, is that it? Is that
And
what
then-
you've got?
Then I got in trouble because I kept going, because like the third one's so hard to find for even your closest friend. So I'm like, mother. And she's like, stop bringing up everyone's a mum. I'm like, I don't even know if they are a mum. I'm just fucking up
Not
here
every
struggling.
woman's a mum.
That's not. It's true. It's true.
It's true.
Now, Max, if most people don't know or don't know, you work with the group Aunty Donna. You're their main director. Is that right?
Yeah. So I guess like to explain it. So Aunty Donna is actually 6 people. Mm-hmm. There's the 3 guys that you see on screen who also write. There's also Sam, who's the head writer behind the scenes. There's Tom, who does all the music and sound stuff, and then there's myself, and I direct everything and edit everything.
And so did Aunty Donna start as a 6-person band?
I actually was 7.
Oh, someone
because
died.
there was a 4th member on screen, Adrian.
I heard about this. And then he left before it got huge.
Yes.
Is this right?
Yes. But now he's a very successful job
is
as a
he?
lawyer, I think.
Okay.
So
Well, that's lucky.
I think
He's fine.
he's doing all right.
It's like when you hear about those, and I'm sure he's doing fucking way better than all of us. But when you hear like the drummers that like leave the band, and the next week it's like, what band you leave? Oh, Metallica. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
Yeah, I think it was, and it was right before. I feel like things did get a bit more serious, but it's always that weird thing because I don't know like what it would have been like. Like 3 works really well in hindsight, and I don't know like if how it would have been, and yeah, so
He did
maybe it
everyone
worked
a
out
favour.
hopefully it worked
Thank
out
you,
for
Adrian.
everyone.
God bless you.
So yeah, kind of 7, and then there was another member right at the start who left before we even got going. So yeah, it kind of has dwindled down a little bit, but it's been 6 for a long time.
Okay. And has anyone been like, can I please join?
No one's asked to join Aunty Donna exactly, but we
Brett.
have.
Have a go.
Man, imagine me trying to be like, whoa. I can't even do even a
That's
joke.
good.
Like, whoa.
That's pretty good.
Wow.
What do you
Sausage
think?
boy.
Yeah.
What about that?
Max is impressed.
Sausage boy. Did you?
Sausage boy. I've copyrighted
Hey.
that. It's on camera. If you guys
Yeah.
see you using any sausage boy shit, I'm fucking coming for you. I know a
Damn.
lawyer, and he's got some resentment towards the group. No.
So did you?
Is
How
that
did
real?
you guys meet?
That sounded very specific.
No.
Lawyer.
Did you guys go to uni together?
Yeah, so I actually went to high school with Broden Kelly and Tom Zahari, who does all the music.
Okay.
And then Tom and Broden went to do acting in Ballarat uni after high school.
Where all the great actors come from.
That's right.
Ballarat.
Oh my
Going
God.
to study Shakespeare and do all serious shit in Ballarat.
Ballarat.
Oh man, way to have it 1 ticket to Bullying Town.
Oh, so he went to high school here in Melbourne and then said, I'm actually going to make it big in Ballarat.
Yeah, well, it's
That's
a really
hilarious.
good acting school, I
Is it?
believe. And
Well, it
I
sounds
assume.
it. I mean, he's done well.
Yeah, well, it was like I think he went there and then like met the others there who were the same thing, and I think they all realized that like being just an actor and trying to do all that stuff was just going to be the worst, and so they wanted to just try and do stuff on their own, and wanted to do comedy.
Yep.
So it kind of started as like this like was going to be like a live comedy thing, and the first ever time Donna was going to do something was going to be at the Melbourne Comedy Festival. But back then you needed to like, if you hadn't been in the comedy festival, you had to like submit a show reel of like stuff. Like if you hadn't performed live. I think now you just like turn up and you can.
Well, they
you
take
just
your
sign
money.
a piece of paper and they let any idiot in.
they let
Well, because they
anyone
take
in,
your money
yeah.
because they're like, you're not going to sell tickets. We don't care.
Yeah.
They're
That's
trying to
fine,
get as
yeah.
many people as possible
Yes.
now, it seems.
Yeah.
Back then you had to actually like prove yourself a bit.
Oh.
So we had to like film some stuff, and that's when they asked me because I was doing film production at uni, and so I was like the filmmaker friend of the group, and over a weekend we filmed a bunch of sketches, and that was the first stuff, and then they got the guys got the spot at the festival, and then from there then we started doing YouTube and everything after that. So that's how it kind of came together.
And when you join a group like this, were you like, oh, I'm happy to be the director? Or were you ever like, actually, I'd like to be in all the scenes as well?
Definitely not. Hell no. Hell no.
I was going to say,
This
it
is
was
like-
already
this is
pulling
like-
teeth for me to get him on this.
I was gonna say-
please.
I can tell you how reluctant I was to say yes to him doing this.
Yeah, we're thrilled you're here. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. But I definitely behind the camera person. So very happy being on that side. But I've peered in a few little bits here and there,
Yep.
and it's fun to kind of cameo.
Yeah.
Usually in like non-dialogue kind of
Right.
ways.
Man,
and
that's
stuff,
where
which is
that's
my-
where I thrive as well. No dialogue. Thank you. Yeah, I'll take
Sausage
that.
boy. Shut up, sausage boy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you just be sausage boy.
Yeah, I can just be I can be the character as long as there's no dialogue. I'm not
lines.
stressed out. Now, the first time we met each other, well, properly, was on an ad. Me and you did. It was a Bonds ad. It was Dusty and Rusty, Dustin Martin's fat, stupid twin brother. This guy.
You're supposed to be the twin brother. I thought you were the cousin.
Well,
supposed to be
it's
twin
unknown.
brother.
I think you were the brother.
I think I was a brother.
I think you were the brother. God, I can't remember now. Yeah, I think you were the brother.
I was a long lost brother.
Yeah, brother. You just turned up. Yeah, at his house.
I turn up at his house. It's like a 70s sitcom vibe or whatever.
Okay.
And
Is
I'm
it still
like,
on the internet?
yeah, I
is.
think so.
We should
Yeah.
It
post
is.
it. We'll post it in
It's,
the stories.
Yeah, it was
It was a very odd.
It was really fun. Like as
was
far
fun.
as like ads worlds go, like actually, like really cool, and that's like saying the bar is low.
Yeah, because they don't like taking a lot of risks or whatever. That's why I was like,
not
this is
at
a
all.
big risk.
Like,
I
yeah.
loved it creatively.
It
you
was
know?
like most of like the ad work and stuff that I've done is just like the ad world is it's creatively it's like the least exciting,
Yeah.
and the most painful.
But the most
And-
amount of money. Well, a lot of money.
yes,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
the most
the money
amount
is-
the most amount of money, which is why we do it.
Yes.
So when you say it's a risk, why was this one risky? Because
Well, it's-
Brett's on it.
yeah, mainly me.
Liability.
Yeah,
I am a
Big
liability. It's true.
not knowing what the fuck was going to come out of his mouth.
Yeah. Hey, look, you chose me.
if you turn up.
I didn't have any. Also, well, I think what he was saying was that it was a lie, like because the style of the set, the idea, it was kind of like a 70s sitcom. There was a laugh track. There was an audience. It was breaking the wall a bit.
Oh,
there was
there was
all this stuff.
audience?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, 'cause
fake audience in
it
some
was-
of them.
Ah.
Yeah, it was like the whole thing. In fact, like the concept was like it was like 5 episodes of a sitcom rather than just like a straight kind of ad. It was like actually episodes of this sitcom all in his house, a set that was built that where Dusty lives and his long lost brother turns up,
Okay.
and each episode was just like a different little hijinks thing that they do. And so like just being like having like a sitcom look for an ad, especially a Bonds ad, which are all about cool and sexy and trendy and looking good and everything.
There we go.
And then,
Yeah, they're like, we had to drop it to let Brett's body on there.
Yeah, a lot of new things for Bonds in this ad, and having that look and that style and like this episode kind of thing, and where it's comedy as well, but also putting Dusty in it, who is as a footballer like I go for Richmond and he's my like idol.
yeah.
So like
Yeah,
I
he's a
was
god in Richmond. Yeah.
obsessed to get to work with him.
Okay, so how did you react when he came on? Were you just like, oh, whatever? Or were you just, did you?
Yeah, it was,
weep a bit?
I was like, when I heard, because like the producer said, oh, Dusty's arrived. And I just had that moment like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like I don't really get that like normally. I don't feel like I really felt that before. And just like had that feeling of like, I'm going to go into his like change room and like say hello and
did you say
everything.
do I go for Richmond?
Well, I thought about it a lot before going in, like how am I going to handle that? And I think I can.
He's like got his undies off. You're like taking photos and shit over him. You're like, I love you.
See, walking in and doing that, like first up in the morning, I thought might not be a great idea.
Because you got to come in a bit of alpha. I'm still the boss. You know what I mean?
Like quite genuinely, like it's got to come in and play that like, yes, this is professional.
Yes.
I'm the director and like, you know, this is a work environment and stuff. And so I was like, I won't say it until the end. And then, yeah, I did right at the end. I didn't say it until like he was leaving. And like got a footy. There was a prop footy that I took from the set and got him to sign it and stuff, which was awesome.
And were you like, oh, can you just like run? It's not for me. It's for someone.
No. By that point, I was
My
like, oh, by the
nephew's
way,
name's
I'm
Max
a huge
Miller.
fan.
Can you sign it to Max Miller, please?
Yeah,
someone
he's a
I know.
fan. So
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
Right, a couple of kisses and hugs at the end.
Yeah.
So I don't follow footy at all. I'd go for the Swans because my nan did, but I've never really watched a game. But I used to be friends with a guy. His name's Duncan. He actually listens to this. I was friends with this guy who was really a huge Dustin Martin fan, and I just noticed that like I kind of like looked around and everyone loves this guy, and I was like, God, he must be getting job offers all the time. He'd be able to sell anything. But then Bretty told me he actually doesn't take, like it's really hard to get him on a because he's really private.
Yeah,
man.
he doesn't speak. Like it's funny that he even does any of these ads because
Did
like
he speak on the ad?
in the footy media he doesn't speak. No, and the like scripts were written so he doesn't speak, and that was like part of his character to like lean into that, so he wouldn't have to do dialogue.
So every time he
And so
went
Brett
to
had to
speak-
carry the show in that sense.
So I had to cut him off when he was
Okay.
about to speak, which was not hard for me if you've listened to this podcast before.
Yeah.
I'm used to speaking over people. So
I don't think I've ever got a full sentence out. It's incredible.
But it was such an awesome experience. But did you see my audition reel?
Yeah,
Did you notice?
Were you in charge of picking people?
yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, no, but I'm just trying to say, like,
thank you,
after you
Bretty.
saw my audition reel, I don't understand how I got the
Just
job
waiting for my cut over there.
because I had
why
like
you're here.
14 pints before I sent that audition reel in, and I had my Eagles jersey on.
14 pints.
I was pissed at the pub.
Wow.
Forgot that I had to do this audition. I'd been sinking piss all day at the pub, maggot, and then I'm like, fuck, I'll quickly fucking do this. And I'm off, I can hold it together when I've got to. So I'm like drunk in this audition I send in, and like I'm jumping on the couch, I'm giving it a ham, and I'm like, there's no way I'm getting a call back for this one. Whatever.
But that
Tick
was
the
the
box.
character.
Well,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Little to know the character was just me. And then I was like, there's no way. And I
Loves
was
a
like,
typecast.
yeah, and I've been laughing forever. I was like, man, I had like 7 pints before I got on this fucking thing. This is sick. This is how I act from now on. I'm fucking awesome.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
don't ever do that again, dude.
Did you? I don't think. I mean, I can't remember. Like I don't think I thought you were drunk necessarily in it. But did you, knowing that you were pissed to do that audition when you were doing on the real day, were you like, fuck, should I be drinking this
Yeah, I'll
morning?
drink on the way
I
in.
have to get that character back, you know?
Well, yeah, it's
Maybe I can't perform in the same way.
Well, no, I actually didn't think that, but alcohol has helped me out before because when I did I sucked at English. I could never get more than 30 or 40% in an English exam, but I always talk shit. And English exams, to me, you just talk shit about the thing. And I was like, when do I talk shit? When I maggot. So I had a 6-pack before I did my year 11 exam.
Right.
80% on the
No
English
way.
test.
80%?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Highest
yeah,
score.
I think
after
your
the
teacher
six-pack
also had a
in year 11.
6-pack before she
Yeah.
marked that.
Yeah. It was something crazy like that. But I didn't. I was like, well, I can't transfer it. Once you got the job, though, it's like serious. And there was 6 scripts, which was heaps of dialogue for me. I was fucking
Yeah, in
stressing.
one day. It was a huge day.
Oh,
and-
6 in one day.
Yeah.
6 in one day. He's got a
We had,
tight timeline
2
for Dusty.
cameras and stuff. Yeah, because Dusty could only be there for like 6 hours or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, hard to get him. And yeah, he doesn't normally do that kind of stuff. And so I was like doing comedy and acting comedy opposite like a comedian in this like on a set and stuff would have just been like so weird for him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
He was so sweet because when he came into the room and I was like, oh, hey, how are you? Good. He's a bit off stand. He's just he's a nice guy, and he's like, hey mate, just so you know, this isn't my fucking world. Like I don't know anything about this, so I'm just going to rely with you. And I went, hey man, I also don't know fuck all about this world. I'm just a stand-up comedian. I don't get shit like this. So yeah, we're both out here, but I've got your back. And he's like, cool, let's do it. I'm like, hell yeah.
Max will look after us.
Max didn't get to hear any of this. I walk out, I'm like, it's not my first day around here. But I remember, I think it was the first shot, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't know heaps, because it was first shot was like a wide. And then I came through the door and I'd be like, I got to be like, Dusty. And then I did it like really big for the first couple of times. And you're like, I think you go, maybe save those for the close up, right? And I was like, oh yeah. Because the camera's so wide, it's like establishing. It was like, wait till it gets in and save your voice. And I was like,
you did lose your voice by the end of the day.
Yeah.
I remember
did.
that actually.
Yeah. It was getting real croaky.
You can lose that. You can lose that voice. Have a voice of an angel. Wow.
Yeah, this rustic thing that sounds like rusted tin goes away.
Because it was a full day of like every like line and every take was like at 100% basically for the character. Like the character was that.
And that's all I can do as well.
Exactly.
I got no off switch.
So you do lots of commercial filming then, and often you're, from what I can hear you're saying, is they're not very exciting.
No, like generally, like they're not. And normally when you get a comedy script, it's like you get sent and it's like, oh, we got this really funny script that we think you'd be great for and stuff, and I read it and it's like, where were the jokes?
Yeah, you've sent me the wrong one.
It's comedy. Yeah, you sent me the wrong one. It's like comedy light. It's probably the best way you could.
He's got a funny tie on.
Things. Yeah.
That will carry
exactly.
it.
It's slightly quirky, you know. Yeah. It does like one little weird thing or something. So to have something like this, and we got to also like do like writing on the script and stuff, and actually Broden did a few passes on the scripts and stuff, and so like got to really like do it as a comedy production and stuff, which is really cool. And I think it came out really fun. And I remember at the time, everybody was like, from the agency to the client, everyone was really like loving it, and you know, it was really positive like all through the edit. And they talked about doing another season. They talked about Christmas special and stuff.
Oh my god!
And then I just never heard anything.
I know. I was like, man, I could really use another two of these. I am fucking broke, dude. But I looked at him the other time online. I was like, oh, I'll just go back, because I still get people coming like Dusty or Rusty. Really? Man, my hairdresser's like, are you that guy Rusty? And I was like, what the fuck? Out of all the things I've done.
How many years ago was it?
Like 4?
Oh, wow.
No, like 3? 2.
Oh, Bretty.
Yeah, it was around there. I was like, man, get me back. I was like, Christmas special? Fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I know. It was like it felt like it was really positive. And like one thing I did notice was that Dusty never posted it to his Instagram.
Yeah.
Which apparently he was like, that was part of the thing.
Oh, okay. So that's why
I wonder if like partly he got cold feet on it, and like I wouldn't be surprised if he found himself awkward watching himself in that.
Yeah.
Like, because it is a very unusual spot for him to be. I think it was funny. I saw other Richmond players actually comment and love it and stuff, like Jack Rewalt and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
I thought he
commented
did great
on it and everything, and it was really good. But one thing I was going to bring up on this actually is very funny, because speaking of like, so ad world is like, it's hard to have like a job like place, because it's so much of like, you know, every day it's a bit different and stuff. But as an industry, as like a work industry as a whole, is like, can be really like shit and like a very toxic place. And it's very funny. Like, I mean, you just got to find this funny. But there's a website called Campaign Brief.
Oh, I know this. Yeah. I know of Campaign Brief. Yeah.
I don't.
So basically it's like an industry website for advertising and stuff, where like every time there's new ads and stuff, they like do articles about it and post it, and there's awards, and they cover all the awards.
They love jacking themselves off.
They love jacking themselves off. They love it.
They're all, by the way, most people at agencies, actually I'm not going to say that because they employ me a lot, are great. Thank you. Great ideas as well. Love them.
Yes,
we're big fans. Yeah.
And Campaign Brief, like, so yeah, it just kind of covers, like, everyone kind of like reads it and stuff in the industry and everything, because it's like, you know, you find out everything. But there's a comments on like every like article, everything they post, and it's anonymous. And it's like known within the industry, like how bad and toxic like the comments are, like on all these like posts and stuff on Campaign Brief, when like things get launched and stuff, like people just shit on things.
And other ad reps just go on each other. It's just all kinds of different agencies.
Other people, other
man,
agencies.
they're fucking psychos at agencies.
They want to like bring the other people down and like, you know, and stuff, like any chance to have a dig. And let me tell you, this ad was no different and did not.
Wow. my God.
Oh no! I did not know he was bringing this.
This is
It would have been
amazing.
all about me. Oh my
And
god!
this is just, I'll read you out some of the comments that we had here. This made me cringe so hard, I think I broke something in my spine.
Oh my God, this is...
That is really
gross.
shit. Whoever came up with this deserves a dacking.
Oh, that's
Doing
nice.
funny is hard. Wow, yeah, I hate this. It's so bad. And my personal favorite, how come nobody from the agency or client put a stop to this? It should have been killed before even being presented. But there must have been a massive warning signs the whole way through about how terrible this had the potential to be. It's one of the worst things I've seen in a long time.
Oh my God, I love that you had to look Brett right into his sad eyes when you said that.
That's what we made.
That's what we made. We did it, dude. We
Oh,
did it.
that's
But also,
nice.
I would, and knowing all the people in ad world is, put your name on it, and then we'll go have a look at what you did, and I guarantee it would be a dog shit Bank West ad that no one gave a fuck about. You know what I mean?
But do you think
Absolutely.
do they just comment whether they like it or not? Just for hate.
I've only seen like
Negative.
negative things, and like it'll be like predominantly. But even there was a couple of nice ones.
Yeah.
So there would be a couple of nice ones, but like predominantly they're always skewed negative.
And-
Like,
And are they
people just, like,
anonymous
ripping
or
on
are they-
them.
do they have
they're
the-
And
anonymous.
Oh,
if
there
you
you
know
go.
what Campaign Brief is, the website, you have to work in the industry or be industry adjacent. You know what I mean? So it's just other people from ad agencies who've been like creative guys going, fuck that, fuck
Yeah.
this. But who cares? Got 1.8 million hits. Fuck off. You know what I mean?
Did it?
Yeah,
it went
exactly.
well.
And I think people who like actual people who watched it liked it because I only heard good things.
Yeah, I only
And,
heard
like when it
positive.
got like posted on Bond's like Instagram and all that, like it was all positive.
If it
which
was
is great. It's just an
anonymous-
industry thing. Yeah.
If it was anonymous, do you think maybe Dusty was the person writing all those?
yeah, he was trying to bring it down.
Yeah.
So I don't
From
want to
the
do that
inside
again.
out.
I'm not doing that
I
again.
don't want any more of these.
Yeah, how do I stop this from going out
Kill
or
the
whatever?
Christmas
But I think it was
special.
like, man, it's I always should go, ads suck, whatever. But you kind of, the agents, there's so many like hands in a pie. Like even when I do lighting, like if we do lighting on a film set, it's kind of like one directional. This is where we're going. If I do lighting on an ad, it takes longer because you got to be happy. The client's got to be happy. The director's got to be happy. There's so many.
Yeah.
It's such a big moving, shifting thing.
So many chefs.
There's a lot of chefs, and you've just sometimes got to meet in the middle just to make it happen because there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of people like, and you get it all the time, which is my favorite one. It's like, do you think his shirt should be yellow? And then they're like, that's a good point. And they're off having and I'm on $100 an hour lighting. I'm like, man, I reckon it could be purple. What do you think about purple?
Let's try
Wait,
it.
a bit longer?
Yeah,
Guys, take as long as you want. Take as long as you want.
I did one ad, only ever one ad, and it was I was an optometrist, and I had to. It didn't go to telly. It
Let's
was
look
like
it up on
just-
Campaign Brief.
Yeah.
What a
See what people
slag.
say.
We hate her.
It was just for like a charity or something. Anyway, so I think only optometrists saw it. I think it was. It doesn't matter. But I had to pretend that I'd like followed this old lady home who like refused to take my medical advice, and like the whole idea was like you can't follow them home. So how do we set them up for success? But the whole ad was me actually following her home and like trying to like get in the way of her bad medical decisions. Anyway, very highbrow stuff. But there was this one shot where she'd open the fridge and get something out of the fridge, and then as she moved away, I'd pop up and then I'd have to say a line. This was in like it was in a heat wave in Sydney, and I had to wear like a blazer, slacks, like a button-up shirt, I think, and I think it's so much makeup, and I'd pop up and I'd have to say my line. It was like a long line. It had medical jargon in it, and I was like trying to get it right. And when I'd nail it, the sound guy would be like, the buttons hit the fridge on that time. The buttons on her jacket hit the fridge. So, Bron, when you jump up, can you make sure like your hair lands here, and then the buttons, you're like holding the buttons with one arm, and then you say the thing and look at me and don't look at the, and I was just like, oh my God. It'd be like, yeah, that's fine. Let's go. And there was no aircon in this place. I was sweating. Like one time we nailed it. This one thing, the buttons didn't touch, got it right. And then someone goes, she's a bit sweaty. I was like, whoa, what the fuck am I supposed to do about that?
I sympathize with you from a directing point of view. I hate when there's like that million things to like, I hate giving that direction too much to actors where it's like, oh, can you just make sure that you're turned like 40 degrees that way, and your buttons don't fall this way, and that your hair stays behind your ear. Like it's just so many things.
So many little
So
1%ers,
many.
but you get it. You got
many.
everyone's got to
Yeah,
have the
that's
thing
right.
that makes it work. But coming from like I started in like lighting and whatever, I used to have I'm like, oh, just shut up and say your fucking words, blah blah blah. And then you're like, God, these actors are fucking diva, all this stuff. And then you're on set and you're like, oh no, this is actually really hard and stressful. And now I have so much more time when I'm like, mate, I'm like, you doing good? Take as long as you want. He goes, oh, sorry, mate, I know you're holding lights. Don't worry about me, mate. Just worry about your thing. Like, I got a lot more respect once you're on the other side because it is quite hard and everyone is fucking looking at you, you know?
Yeah. No, and are expecting a million different things, and it's like, there's never enough time, and it's embarrassing if you fuck it up, even though you got more takes and stuff, and like,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, when I was doing some shit recently, and they're like, "Oh, we got an auto cue," because they gave me the script the night before, 6 scripts again the night before. Like, don't worry, there's an auto cue. I was like, great, I'm dyslexic. That's not going to help anyone. And they're like, don't worry, we'll get you on the next day. We'll shoot you out, so you don't just read the lines off a piece of paper. Doesn't matter. We'll get coverage the next day, and then you got time to learn your scripts tonight. I'm like, great, I got time to learn. Rock up on the second day. I'm like, all right, it's my time to do the scripts. You guys are on me. We're going to redo the ones tomorrow. Nah, we got it. I was like, what, me reading off a piece of paper? Yeah, we'll use some of that. I'm like, you motherfuckers,
Did they? How did that work?
They kind of cut around it.
Oh my God.
But also, like, some of the ones I did were fine. And by the time we got to the third, because I was just feeding the other actor lines.
Right.
I didn't know they had a camera on me anyway. And some of them I was nailing sections of it, but fucked up a lot of it. But I was like, we're getting it tomorrow. And then tomorrow rolls around, they're like, no, we're good. I'm like, I'd really like to do that again because I wasn't. But then when the ads came out, it was all fine. So they were happy. I got
Everyone's
paid.
happy.
Walk
Everyone's
away.
happy. Max is happy.
But they might have
happy.
gone. They might have gone. This guy has no chance.
Did you
of
see the
getting this."
finished ads?
Yeah.
Did it look all right?
They're out at the moment. Yeah, they look good. They look good.
Like it made sense what you did?
It made sense what I did.
They pixelated the script out. It's fine.
yeah.
Yeah, they put someone else completely different in.
It's
At
Bev
the end
Killick.
of the day, I don't care as long as I get paid. As long as the money's in the bank, do whatever the fuck you want. CGI a dick on my head, as long as I get my cash.
So Max, what is the worst job you've ever had? Ever. It doesn't have to be in this industry. It could be any job in your whole employment history. What is the worst job you reckon you've ever had?
I think, there's probably like lots of little ones within like film world where it's
Yes.
like little one-off shoots. Actual like jobs, I only really had 2 before I started working in film land, and they both were bad. But my first job probably just sucked the most because of where it was, which was at a Leonard's chicken poultry
Incredible.
butcher.
Every Thursday I'd get paid. Friday straight to Leonard's. I get 3 chicken Kievs for the
The
week.
fancy ones,
Hey.
yeah.
Oh yeah, and
Crumbed?
Oh, good.
Crumbed,
Yeah, crumbs,
yeah, and the Kiev's got the bacon and the garlic in there. Oh my lord, 20 minutes later, you're fucking living like
What a
king.
treat.
What's your
Oh,
job? What would your job entail?
Deboner.
I wasn't deboner, thankfully, or
It's a rough job.
too much with that. I was like,
Who got that job? Who got that job though? Like the beginners or like the experienced
No,
ones?
that was actually more of like an experience kind of thing. I
Okay.
think like to know how to chop it right and stuff.
Yeah.
I was just out the front because of my great looks, I guess.
Good for you.
This guy can move some fucking chicken. Huh?
But you still had to do a lot of like chicken prep stuff. And I think it's just like any job where you're working with raw meat is like never particularly fun because it gets a bit gross. Not that I wouldn't say that Leonard's sold meat that was off, but
No.
after a while, there's inevitably in the cool room something's fallen behind a shelf or bits of
On, off
There's always
meat.
bits because it's like the kebab chopped up stuff and it's fallen and it's
Yeah,
So
and
you've
chicken freaks me
rotten.
out because you're like everyone's like salmonella chicken. Like when I'm at home and I cut up chicken, I make sure I got a fucking separate board for the thing. It freaks me out that I'm gonna get salmonella. I don't know if that's just
Yeah,
something
everyone's
mum
terrified
fucking
of it.
started in my head.
Yeah.
That's not true, but I'm like chicken freaks me out for some reason.
Yeah, it does. It does, and especially with cooking because it's like that freak out of like this is not perfectly cooked, you will die.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't go to a restaurant. I have my chicken medium rare. Thank you.
So did people bring their chook back and be like, "This is rotten," and I've vomited?
No, didn't
But that's
get
beautiful.
any of that.
That's
So I
You've
think
done your
hey,
job.
it was good.
I
Yeah,
don't know
no
what
job.
was on
And
about
but I don't think there's like any Lennons in Victoria anymore. So I don't know what that says.
Too many rotten chooks.
The health and safety. We a guy. Sorry, just got a little flashback. We were doing this gig in and I would. It was Dorrigo. Me and my mate Nick were riding out to anyway. We're on an adventure bike ride. We stopped at this pub and there was like the grimiest bloke you've ever seen at the bar, just hanging out, like talking shit, annoying everyone. He was like, rolly cigarettes, yellow burnt fingers, and just grotty dude. Anyway, we're talking to him about motorbikes. He's fucking chewing our ear off. I can't get away from the fuck. Go get dinner. Everyone orders a Parma. I get the steak. He rocks up to the table. Everyone's got the Parmas out, and he's like unwashed, filthy, just this grimy guy. He goes, "How's everyone's dinner going?" And everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, it's good, mate." He goes, "Oh, yeah, everyone got the Parma? Yeah, the Parmas? Yeah, crumbed it myself." And I'm like, everyone's like, "Oh my fucking God, this guy touched our food." And I'm like, fuck, I got the steak, dude. I was like, unwashed. He looked like the Parma crumbs came from his fucking hair. It was literally like an Aunty Donna sketch. I swear to God, it was the most rankest looking dude in the world. I'm like, oh my God, there's no way this guy has cleaned this chicken.
Oh, gross.
So was that you? Is that what you're trying to say, Brett? That was
that
was the
second
Kievs that you bought, yeah.
That was all you?
That was all me.
All skin follicles.
So what was bad about it? Just because it smelt a bit?
I think just working.
Had some bad jobs then. What was bad about it?
I mean, like as like day to day, like I guess it's fine. I can't complain. I suppose it was like fine. Like it was just whatever. It was a high school job. But
it's not a glamorous one.
No,
got
but
a job at Donut King, Wendy's.
Yes.
Subway.
I would love Donut King.
Man, any of those jobs, I reckon they got, like the Leonard's guy, no offense, you're not getting any skirt from working at Leonard's. If you're the Subway hunk, you're the Leonard, you're the Wendy's guy, you work at Macca's, you're getting a bit of skirt. You know what I mean?
I have to say, that was like, it was like always a weird one to tell people, I'm working at Leonard's.
And then, did you have to wear that little red hat as well?
Yeah, and the net and stuff and everything.
No one's touching that dick for years, brother.
Yeah. So it's like, it's more that as opposed to like, bad that happened. It was like working with raw meat, working at Leonard's, not exactly,
And now I have a question going back to directing, only because even though I've been in that world for a long time, but the question is kind of like, when you get given the script and directors essentially are controlling it from top to tail all the way to the finished product to the final edit, could you just quickly just add, just for my own curiosity, and I'm sure the listeners will be excited to know about as well, like roughly like in a shortened version, what does that process look like? You get the script, you have a look at it, you get actors then, and then you're talking to the wardrobe and all that. What does that kind of process roughly look like? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah. Well, it's a long process. So, and it depends, like from a director, you could either start, there's two places you could start. You could start where you're giving like scripts that, are done or basically done, or you could be coming on much earlier with the script, like you have an idea for something and you're working with a writer and you're writing it together and you're starting a script. So yeah, one or those two, either you're working on the script from the beginning or you get them and then you move into what's called pre-production, which is when everything kind of starts to then try and make the script. So you start to crew up is like the first thing you do. You get the main heads of department. So like the cinematographer, the costume designer, production designer, first AD. You would have already probably, hopefully had a producer before this. And then you start briefing them in on everything, like the kind of vision that you have for it. Directing, a lot of it is like, is kind of having an idea of what you want the end, like product and the overall kind of macro view of something, what you want it to be. And then it's communicating that to other people who then go and do the thing. Mm-hmm. So it's like, in many ways, like the most important part is like those initial conversations with those people to get across like kind of what you want. Because then they go and actually do the work really, which is like making the costumes or like, planning the lighting or whatever it is.
Building the sets and
building the sets and stuff. And at the same time, you're looking for locations and stuff as well. So you're trying to like plan that out and stuff. And then as a director, you kind of like then actual work is like you're doing a lot of location recce's, like checking out places, trying to find locations. You're doing casting. So yeah, getting those tapes in and then having like auditions and stuff.
Looking at Brett drunk on camera.
Drunk on camera,
Very
trying
good.
to spot who's had 14 pints on their tape. And then you're also doing your like, shot listing and stuff, like breaking down how you want to shoot it, like, and all that. And then you might do rehearsals and lots of meetings in between, lots and lots of meetings. And then hopefully by the end of all that, you've gotten ready and you start shooting. So that's kind of the middle phase. And then that's just, however long you've got budget for basically to shoot for.
Do you prefer the ones where you have like some creative license involved, like the ones that you say that where people will take you on at the start at the formative stage where you go, actually it should go in this direction? Or do you prefer coming in when they've got a really clear idea? They're like, this is a script, this is how we want to do it. Can you just make sure it looks like that? Which one do you prefer?
Definitely the first one.
Yes.
But like I like love and very happy coming on something where the script's already done as well. But as long as like the kind of, it's a traditional, I guess, setup where like traditionally normally like the writer might have written the script and then it's basically fully handed over to the director and like the writer's like not as much involved.
Okay.
And then the director fully owns it and like, makes the thing. But yeah, definitely like a lot of times work within situations where like the writer is still, or the creators are still really heavily involved. And so they're, so even though I'm as the director, it's still like, they've got like probably like almost like a showrunner kind of like thing, which is, like they're kind of like still the head creative of it all and, having like strong input and stuff. And I'm finding that I'm really liking that less and less because it's just becomes the chef's thing and, too many. And it's like you kind of, if you don't fully align on things and stuff. And it's like normally when you feel like you're the director, it's like you are making those decisions. But when you've got other people and stuff, you kind of, having to appease as well, it's like muddies it all.
Yeah.
So definitely when it's like, you can just fully kind of take it on as a director is the best. And definitely, and then even better than that is when you like being early in the writing stage too, and then being able to have like input and stuff in the script and stuff too.
So have you had one where you've taken it on, speaking of nightmare ones, surely at the start when you were less established, you had to do ones what you thought weren't very good. I'm not sure whether you still have to do those ones, but at the start, I'm assuming you would have had to been like, oh, and they go, no, we've this is the one, this is what we want it to look like. We know best. Can you just direct it and make it look like that? And you would have been like, that is an atrocious idea, but I'll do it because I'm getting paid. Can you? Do you still have to do ones like that? By the way.
I mean, yeah, it's like still kind of like most ad jobs.
Yeah. Okay. Can you tell me a nightmare work story with commercials? You don't have to name who they are. Obviously, Brett was involved somehow, but can you tell us one where it's gone, or either all gone wrong, or it's just been a nightmare from go to woe? I'd
say like, I don't think like, thankfully like all gone like wrong that it's like, completely fallen over. I think it's more that like there's a lot where it's just like they're nightmares.
Yes.
And as you're going through, like it's just kind of painful. And it is usually ad related because it's the most like environment where things just like change so much. Like just so many times where like, or like one, like a year or so ago where it was like because to get an ad, you have to do a treatment to pitch on it.
Okay.
So you have to like, they give you the script they've written and then you write up like quite a big like 20, 30 page document, like images and stuff and everything and how you're going to direct it all, which is the most wankery thing ever because you're just writing these pages about like, we're going to capture the essence of the cracker through the
and then
the
natural light, the hero of it all, and it'll look so
Yeah.
majestical, and the brand will look so positive, and sell
the talent
millions
will
of
have such a refreshed face, look on their face, like they're
youthful
just
and vibrant.
It's just
Just
so
getting
much
out the
wankery.
thesaurus, going, fuck it,
Yes.
what wanker word can I whack in
You
today?
like wear out the thesaurus big time doing
Yeah.
these treatments. So you do all this work in and you fully pitch like what your approach is and stuff. And then as you're going
Cut and
through,
paste the title to the next job. Like, you put Bonds there, then Arnott.
Yeah.
So you're like, it's the same words,
Same
whatever.
the same words. There's
Yeah.
there's a lot you can recycle, which is handy. And then just going through and like it's like death by 1,000 cuts where like step by step things that you like had pushed for, and always like you try to bring something that was like not originally there that's interesting that you want to do, and then slowly that gets whittled away to the point where it's like, first of all, why did you say yes to my treatment if like you clearly haven't wanted anything that has been in it?
Did you read it?
Did you read it? Like, did you actually want any of this? And then two, why am I here? You know, and it's a lot of just like, why am I here? Kind of questions and stuff. And you get to the point where it's like, kind of like what Brett was saying before, where it's like, you can reach a point where it's like, well, you know what? I'm getting paid and I'm just going to do it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
And, they'll get what they want and I won't put it on my show reel, but I'll get paid and I'll move on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you can have a lot of that. Sometimes they're good. I've had like a lot of good ones as well, just for balance. But
yes, of course you had lots of good
But when
ones.
sometimes and I had a real weird one, which I've never seen before in the history of lighting for my whole fucking life. But we had a full night shoot, big setup, big money, big crew. Obviously not going to mention names and of stuff, whatever. It's a night shoot. The whole thing's a fucking night shoot. The commercials shot at night.
Correct.
It went so far into time. We're on hour 14 or 15. Sun comes up, sucked in. It's over.
Yeah.
Night shoot. Everything's night vision. And then like all the people are having a chat in the tent. Yeah, this is overnight, but then now we're actually going to go into day, and then it's like sun up, and so they changed the vision to fit. And they're like I want to go to bed, and then because for lighting at night and lighting for day are two fucking different kettles of fish, and we're on 14 hours of continuous work. And hour 14, then we're having to get day packages out of trucks, half asleep, high wind, in dangerous circumstances. And we're like, guys, don't change it now just to get these fucking shots that they're probably never going to use. And that's just to appease.
Yeah. There's often this level of like, where it's just like, no one else matters. Like, we just like, doing, whatever we want, which is like, and we don't care how much we push
By the time that happened, all the ad agencies who, are sitting in there with their heat warmers and their fucking heaters and in their beautiful tent, they're like, oh, we're fucking off at 4. But yeah, you guys keep going. We're like, fuck you, motherfuckers. But also I got paid for fucking a shitload. So thank you for that. But,
but that's always welcome. Like, the flip and stuff. But then also like working with people, like I've worked like on a job where like they just didn't, like sometimes it's just like you can't like it was this job where like I had to when we were shooting takes of like these two like characters interacting, like started asking like why aren't they looking down the barrel, like why aren't they looking down the camera, and I was like what do you mean, like that doesn't make sense. Like
if they're talking to each other,
like have you seen a movie before, like characters like they look at each other, they don't look at the camera unless it's like a specific like a Wes Anderson thing or something like that. But it's like that's not what this was. It's just like two characters interacting, and it's like they didn't understand that, and it's like just such a weird thing. It's like how long they've been doing this for like a long time.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just like what is the
So is your responsibility to be like okay, are they your boss?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have to be like really appease them, or are you able to be like, you don't know what you're talking about, this is how it's done?
That's the delicate balance. Like constantly have to play. Number one skill you got to have. It's a lot of like, so okay, like I think so. That I understand that, but like maybe if we do this, you know, and just like trying to talk your way around.
Oh my god!
Well, we'll try one like that, and then the next one we'll maybe do it right.
It was very much like that, and we did try it, and then after that, it was like, oh, we don't have to worry about those anymore.
Okay, good. Right, I'll just show them why they're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
So have you quit? Have you ever quit in spectacular fashion? And that's it. No, you go fuck yourselves. You guys can, if you know what you're doing.
I would love if it was on set, a walkout. I mean, I've seen a few walkouts in my time, but not. I'd never.
Yours don't count.
Pardon?
Yours don't count.
No, I've seen a director not rock up on a big thing on purpose. He didn't rock up because the director was bigger. It was, let's just say, it was not Marvel, but in that world of big superhero things.
And they didn't turn up just to
sometimes the director,
because they were pissed off, would make a point about something.
Pissed off, like make a point, was out partying, and the director was potentially is equally as big as the main, dudes in the thing. So he was trying to throw a bit around, and we rocked up on set, and they're like, "Yep, we're just waiting for the director." Like 3 hours, doesn't bother me.
You get paid by the hour.
3 hours later, we're like, yeah, he's not coming. So then the first AD's like, okay, so we might try and get some plate shots now. So he rocks up. Didn't rock up the whole fucking day, dude. And I was like, oh my God. And then when it's getting hectic on set, when you start seeing like executive producers and shit rock up in cars and you're like, ooh. But also I'm like, I'm going home early today and I still get paid the same. So
and that's what Bretty's about.
I'll tell you what it was afterwards, and you'll be like, on that film, and I'm like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's wild. You hear those stories and stuff, and I've like just can't imagine that. I've definitely not done it or had any walkouts or quit, spectacularly in that kind of way on any kind of film shoots, because I'm just not at the level or position where I can afford to do that.
Yeah. Must be nice to be able to walk out.
Must be nice. It's a real nice privilege if you can pull that kind of shit and still get away with it. I assume a few days later he was back and
he was back the following day. Just was like, what?
Yeah.
Oh,
What are you gonna
sorry.
do? What are
Oh,
you
yeah,
gonna
that's
do?
right. You
Fine.
need me for this to happen. And it was like, whoa. I was like, I don't, man, but it was like, it was a heavyweight. So
You should
you're
have
like,
called Max. He was ready.
mate,
Yeah,
Max
I
was
could've
around.
stepped
Oh, you should have
in.
jumped in. But okay, if you've never
Yeah.
done a spectacular walkout on set or whatever, have you ever worked with a full diva? Because
Yeah.
actors can be full on sometimes. Like I've worked on some sets where you're like, what the fuck is this? And I've seen some big fucking hissy fits and I'm like, hell yeah, dude, send it. And you're like, oh, don't make eye contact, don't make eye contact, don't make eye contact.
I'd love to see that.
Have you had any big staunch you don't know names, obviously,
names,
no
yeah.
productions, but have you had any good ones where you're like,
This
okay.
person's an idiot.
I was trying to think because like not with like I mean actors and stuff. I haven't. So I think it's like with the nature of like being the director. If I had an actor that did that, like something's gone really, really wrong. Like I don't know. I think it's like, yeah. I feel like I guess I just like I don't know. It's a boring answer, but I haven't had it really happen. And
wow.
but I like to think that hopefully it's because as the director sets the tone and like sets the whole
vibe.
environment and the culture and the vibe and everything,
Yeah.
and also like is directly like responsible. Everyone has like chatted with
Okay.
everyone and stuff. So anyone, and like a crew member is probably not going to do it, but it's like going to be either an actor or a producer or maybe like a big head of the department. And they're all like close contacts of the director. And I guess thankfully I haven't been in a position where I've had anyone that
that's
like
good.
I have like
That
a good
is
enough
good.
relationship with people that I work with where that hasn't happened.
Hasn't happened yet.
Hasn't happened yet.
Give
And
it
working
time.
my way up to storming off set. And I mean there's definitely actors, I guess I'm trying to think. There's definitely like ones that are difficult. I've definitely worked with maybe not a storming off or anything, but I've definitely worked with difficult actors where there was a certain person where like it was a little bit like that where it wasn't even in a bad way, but like we just couldn't, like it was like everything stopped for them. Like they were offset, had to make a phone call or whatever. Like we're lit and ready and stuff. And it was on a shoot as well where like that was not the vibe. Like we're all very just like hands on and stuff. And, have that. And it's kind of like suddenly the awkward thing of like having to wait and everyone's just standing there and just being like, oh, we're waiting for so-and-so to finish up, that kind of like slow, like
they
diva kind
apologetic?
of thing. Not particularly, but they weren't like also like angry or like short about or like, like standoffish. It was just like, it was a little bit of like almost like a just ignorance of like not knowing or like really
goodness.
fully appreciating and stuff. That's
If I knew people were waiting for me, I'd feel
be
so
mortified.
bad. I'd be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because you
so
assume that all
awkward.
like whisper, who the fuck does she think
Yeah.
she is?
That's the biggest thing with like with this director and like this other person and stuff. It's like what would kill me the most is just knowing that everyone's talking about you in
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah,
And
that
just, like,
freaks me the
that
fuck
freaks me
out.
out,
I
yeah.
don't want to ever be in that position. Oh man, I've seen one where like actors have been fucking violently drunk on set.
Oh, wow.
One of them sat on
Well,
a
you
lamp.
would see so much better shit because you're
Oh,
doing.
I
you're
see
doing
heaps of good shit.
like big budget American stuff and
Yeah.
whatever. That's where the good shit is. Like,
Oh,
the stuff
man.
I'm doing is like low budget Australian. Everyone's just there working hard, and it's like
Yeah, it's
no one's-
beautiful.
Well, most
like-
of the Aussie ones I've never had too many dramas with, but you do see the American ones. They're like, you kind of like, you don't, because everything's like fast paced, money, everything's expensive. The American ones are kind of like, yeah, we'll do it when I'm fucking ready type
Yeah.
shit. And I've seen that one before, like where an actor's like, oh, I'm in this thing and wait, hang on, I need to go for a run to clear my head. And then they've gone for a run for 40 minutes, come
Also
back.
very fit.
But then
Yeah,
I
I
can't
know,
wait to tell you.
40 run in the middle of
Man,
the day.
I can't wait to tell you the name after the
Okay.
thing. He comes back, and then a bigger, even more famous actor who will like blow your socks off if I'd said the name.
Yep.
Looked him dead in the eyes and said, "You know, you can just pretend you've run, don't you?" And he's like, "Yeah, but I wanted to get into the thing." And he's like, "I've been waiting here for 40 fucking minutes." And I was like,
Why? How can you pretend that you've gone for a run? What do you mean?
well, because he
Is
was
that a
trying to
point?
get into the mind of what was about to happen on this thing. And he's like,
What do
it's
you
called acting. You can just fucking pretend.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Very good
I've seen a
point.
few of those, like two Clash of the Titans.
Amazing.
Do you want to know? This now sounds like a brag, but you know, the only time I've only ever been freaked out twice on set, And one was they're like, Bretty, quickly run in. We got this big green screen. It was Aquaman. Big green screen set up, blah, blah, blah. And I was in part of the rig, like, come in, put this cutter up, blah, over this actor. But, main act, just shut the fuck up, do your job or whatever. And I was setting a cutter. And then, there's a frame over the top. And I looked down and I was like, oh my God, that's Willem Dafoe. And I just started shaking because I'm like, I'm such a big fan. Like, I've never.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be like, oh my God, I love you. I wanted to like kiss him and hug him, and I was like, there were some big actors on there, like Jason Momoa and all that shit, and fucking, who's that Aussie bird? Fucking, what's her name?
Margot Robbie.
Nah, the famous one, not Kylie Minogue. Kylie Minogue. Who's Australia's most famous? Nicole Kidman was on there and shit.
Kylie Minogue.
This is Aquaman.
Yeah, it is Aquaman. Yeah. And then I just Willem Dafoe. I'm like, I think he's just phenomenal. And everything he touches to me is fucking gold. And I was shaking and I was like, boys, I need you to come help me with this stand. I am freaking out right now.
Can't feel my legs.
Did you have it over him?
Yeah, I had and normally I ask actors
Imagine
to move.
you fucking killed him.
Oh, man, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. That was never going to happen, not on Brett's watch. But yeah, I was freaked out about that. But it was like a stand, because normally I asked him to clear, but he was like talking or going over lines, so I didn't want to interrupt him. And then I'm like, fuck, because normally we got to clear him, but I was like, so I've never been more nervous or yanked to fucking stand harder in my life. And then I said to I better stand with it. And I was just like, just staring at him like, I love you. Like full freaking out. Like, oh man, it was the coolest day. I still think about it. I'm excited,
Yeah,
that's so awesome.
It's a beautiful
yes,
thing.
Yes, so cool.
Yeah, it's a cool, crazy world.
Yeah. That was your dusty moment.
Yes.
It was. Yeah, well, I see, I'm an Eagles man, so like I respect Dusty, but I was also like, you know what I mean? If it was like Ben Cousins, I'd be like, what the fuck,
Well, you like him?
Yeah, I love Benny Cousins.
Okay.
He's just he's just a West Australian boy.
Ex-Richmond player as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So Ben Cousins, he's just naughty. You think that's what he is?
No,
he's just made a few.
No, but before that, he's a Brownlow medalist. He's a superstar of the sport. Like, growing up, Ben Cousins, you're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I was more a David Wirrapunda man. That's my boy. He's in the defense.
Yes, he was great.
He's a fucking workhorse. Yep. He's a power horse. He's there in every play. I was a Punda man. But, Benny C, that would blow my socks, all Punda meeting.
Is he he's obviously landed on his feet. Blokes always do. So he's landed on his feet. He's fine. He's like, hasn't he got a job? Haven't they given him something?
Yeah, I think he's back. I mean, that's the thing about
insane.
And the thing about AFL players, they can and sports superstars, you can do a lot of fuck things and get away with it, and then like a month later, they're like, he's all right.
Yeah, and he's like not even like this. So much worse. Who are still working in like big jobs and stuff. Like,
do you remember there was like it must have been like the maybe like 2009 that era where there was just like. Remember the St Kilda schoolgirl thing?
Oh my
and there was
God.
just like a naughty old man after naughty
silly
old
boy.
Man. Wayne Carey.
Oh, Carey, what about Carey?
Well, Carey was like commentating until recently.
I know.
And remember,
insane.
Sorry, Wayne Carey, did you not glass your missus? No, I went to cheers her and I missed. Oh, did you fucking piece of shit? You know what I mean?
Insane.
It's bro town in there. You know what I mean?
They can do it. They're fine.
Which at least with Ben Cousins, let's not forget something. It was mostly like he had a drug problem,
but he wasn't. He wasn't a bad.
He wasn't like
He had his wife had an AVO out against him.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know any of that. I just knew he had a big drug addiction problem.
You pick and choose what you consume. The news, isn't that right, Bretty?
Well, apparently I have.
Boys Town.
You've got me there.
You're in there.
You've got me there. All I know is they do the Ben Cousins Fun Run every year in Perth, and I want to do it.
There's a Ben Cousins Fun Run.
Yeah, because Ben Cousins got pulled over on the side of the highway and he's high on ice and drunk. So he jumps out of his car, rips his shirt off, swims across the Swan River and then runs like 5Ks to his mate's house. So every year some people would go and do the Ben Cousins Fun Run. So you go from the booze bus to his mate's house.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's beautiful.
Is it for charity?
Yeah, well, no, I think it's more for the boys.
Maybe for yeah.
not a good dude, but
it's very upsetting how blokes all land on their feet. But this is the world we live in.
This is the world we live in,
and that's a beautiful world.
And it's a man's world, Bronny. Trump's in, everything's over for you girls. You've had it too good for too long. I've always said.
Depressing week.
Oh my
God! Hasn't it been? I thank God you said that. I could imagine if you were like, "How great is it?" I was actually before we finished up. I was at the airport with Lawrence Mooney. This is a couple mornings ago, and there was American people sitting next to us. We were just just having a chat, and it was the day after the election, and the American lady was like just chatting. She seemed really friendly. She was just chatting away to us a few things that she said, oh, anyway, I like this, and have a good trip, bye. And then her and her boyfriend stood up, and they said, oh, see you guys, have a good flight. And we were like, oh, bye. And Lawrence said, God bless America. And they went, yeah, okay. And Lawrence said, because you need it. And they both stopped in their tracks and their faces dropped, and they went, what do you mean?
Oh, no.
And he went, oh, just because of yesterday and you got the man with orange face? And they went, yeah, he's amazing. And then we had to be like, yep, okay. All right then. And
it's been like surprising. You really do now more than ever have to like check that. Like I see so many posts and stuff that I'm like, oh yeah, people like, there's, like being sad about everything and happening, and then expect to go into comments and see like a lot of like support for it. And like everything is just like, what do you mean you lost? Like you stopped with this. And it's like, it's crazy
Wild.
To see.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I know you do now.
I was like, I don't know if I'd go. I mean, I don't know much about politics, but I ain't listened to a guy who tells you to inject bleach. That's for fucking sure. Yeah. That's the line for me. I mean,
Are you talking about a footy player again?
Yeah, it could be. It could very well be a football player as well. It's Kerry again.
Kerry, yeah, probably.
Kerry the big cockroach. Yeah.
All right. We've got to wrap this up. Thank you so much,
Thank
Max,
you so
for coming
much.
on.
Are you working on any
worries.
projects? What can you plug? I know you guys and Aunty Donna have got your new YouTube series, Grouse House, I believe.
So yeah, Grouse House is like a kind of third brand, I guess, that we're managing at the moment, which is just like a distribution platform that we started because we produce with our production company, Having Done Well, a lot of like comedy stuff, like Aunty Donna, but also with other people and making stuff with other comedians, making whether it's web or TV or film, and we just want to like to have a place to be able to release things that get made, or people make themselves but don't have like, aren't influencers, don't have social media channels with big following and not interested in that, to like a place where we can build an audience and then release these things that, just love alternative comedy. And so that's what Grouse House is. So it's, basically like a second YouTube channel that we started, and it's, kind of grown this like really fun like audience now, where we just release like, sketches or narrative comedy series or doco comedy stuff or like stand-up stuff or, different things, like game shows, comedy game shows and things like that. So it's a really fun kind of like platform for that. We had our first live event 2 weeks ago in Sydney.
It looked great.
Fun for
so
Grouse House.
Fun. Yeah.
It's like a night, and we had like two different stages and like just a mixture of like game shows and stand-up and like comedy shorts and kind of thing.
Man, I love that, like pushing that like alternative comedy, or not really, you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
definitely like
alternative.
Doesn't
get a lot of airtime.
Especially for like up and coming creators as well and comedians and stuff, because it just isn't like that. In Australia, like it's like the idea was that it's always like it's like the Australian Adult Swim, like that kind of place where you can find other kind of weirder comedy stuff that you don't find
on ABC
on
at
ABC or whatever. Yeah,
100%. Oh man, that's awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Make sure you guys get around Aunty Donna, Grouse House, and what was the third one? Jesus Christ. The production, Grouse.
Have you know well as our production company?
And get around all three.
Grouse House and
get around all three. Get around it. It's on the socials. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. If you're not already on the Patreon, please jump on board and support you guys. Also, we'll be hitting Sydney, Adelaide, Melbourne. All the dates and all that shit will be coming soon. But until next time, have a great time. Thank you. I've been fired from a lot of places. I've been fired from so many places.
I went into the class one day, real bullets.